we're going to move on and we are going to set up a directory for our MERN project. And then we're going to let's just see where we're going a little bit. We're going to install Express, part of setting up the web server environment. We're going to do that. So we'll just start by creating that project directory. Okay, we're moving on to the part where we're setting up our MERN stack. Like, we've already done pieces of it. We've done MongoDB, but we have to do more pieces of it. And we're following in the instructions, this core MERN instruction set. We're setting up the project. This is a little bit confusing because we're actually going to create like a sample application using MERN. But right now, this project that we're setting up is really the MERN stack itself. So the first step we're going to do is we're going to make a directory for the MERN project. So for me, I did this earlier and on a different machine, and I'm just going to follow what I did earlier. So for me, I created it under users. So I went to see users, there's my name there, and I made a directory, just like they're saying in the instructions, called MERN project. And then I'm changing into it. And right at this point, I'm just following along the instructions. We do this npm init. npm will install things. We can skip the prompts, it looks like, by doing -y. I guess we might as well do that. Seems like it might be a little bit faster. Okay, moving on to the next step. MERN, the E is Express.js. That's the E part of MERN. Express is a framework based on Node.js. So Node.js is part of setting up our web application server. And Express is a framework that's on top of Node.js. So we're going to install that using npm express. Whoops, I wasn't typing in the window. npm install express -save. Okay, that finished. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to start Visual Studio. I'm just going to type that in the little search bar here just to bring it up. I guess we could have made a shortcut on the desktop. That probably would have been a good idea. We're just going to start that up. And the first step we have to do is open that MERN project directory that we created earlier. And we're going to create a new file called index.js. And this is the code that we're going to put in it. Okay, so let's go under File. I guess we would go to Open Folder. I really haven't done this in a while. And we're going to go over to our MERN project. I'm going to hit Select Folder. And we've opened that folder. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create, I'm going to say yes, we do. Trust that. There we are in the MERN project. So the next thing we have to do is we have to create a new file called index.js, and we have the code for it. So I think I would just do File, New File, index.js. That should give us the new file. I just checked for the new file. I don't see it, so I'm going to do that a different way. I'm going to go into the project here. I'm going to do a right click and do it this way. New file, index.js. Okay, that's better. There it is. And then I have to put this in, and I'm just going to do an old cut and paste from here. Paste that in. And I double spaced it, but I guess I don't really care. Okay. Okay, we have an issue here. We have a lot of red code here, so this is bad. The issue is the copy and paste. We have these weird single quotes instead of double quotes. So you have to switch them all to double quotes. I'm going to try doing another copy paste because I actually have another version of this with the double quotes. So I'm just going to see if I can copy this over and just replace all of this with the correct version. Oops, I kind of went a little bit too far on my copying. Okay, I think that looks better. Just going to compare that to the original instructions. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay, the next step, we have to change this package.json. So I'm going to double click on that. And we have to add something to the scripts area, which is a little bit confusing instructions on the website. But it's straightforward. We're just kind of matching the start colon space double quote node, and then it's saying that index.js, that's that file that we already created. And it's red again, so that's the signal something's wrong. It's because we're missing the comma here. So we've done that. You know, I think we should do a file save on this one. And I'm going to do a save on this one as well. Save. Okay, now we're going to do a test to see if those last two steps went well. So we're going back and bring up a command window, or maybe you still have it open, and we're going to go into the MERN projects, and we're going to do an npm start, and hopefully this goes well. And if not, we have to fix things. And it went well. We've brought up the web service, really, the application server, because it's listening on the local host for the port. The only thing that slightly bothers me is it hasn't filled in an actual port number there, so that seems a little bit odd. Yeah, so you know that's not right. And if you look at it, you can kind of guess why. I mean, it's running this code here, and if you look, it looks like we still have this other stupid little weirdo quote there. So I'm going to get rid of that one. I'm going to save this, and I'm going to interrupt this, and we're going to try it again. And hopefully it says port 3000. No. All right, so we have to go back again, figure out what's wrong. I think we're getting closer, but we still don't quite have it. Okay, I fiddled with this script a little bit more, and I really did not resolve the issue. I replaced the double quotes with single quotes. But when you run it, it still does not echo this variable correctly here. But if we try out this, because this is basically we brought up our web server, so if we use localhost, it should respond to requests, HTTP requests. So here in the browser, I'm saying, hey, localhost 3000, give me your page, and it's giving me the correct page right here. You know, that's what this says, and this is the path that it's using. You know, I mean, I could put this here, didn't it? Because of the path. So I think we're okay, and it's a little bit of a mystery, which maybe somebody watching this will know right away what it is, why that echoing is off, but I think we're okay. I'm going to hit Control-C to stop this window, and we're going to install another piece that we need. And the command we're going to do is we're going to install the piece that we need to integrate our application with MongoDB. So it's an npm command, npm install MongoDB dash save. So that is, and we'll install MongoDB. And then the next thing up, as soon as that's done, we're going to edit index.js, and we're going to make a bunch of changes. And then we're going to start it up, and hopefully we see connection to the MongoDB database. Okay, in the document, the Google document, I have the contents of index.js there, so you don't have to type it. And I've also kind of put the instructions in a slightly different order that might be a little bit easier to follow than what we've done here. But the next thing we're going to do is we're going to install React. So React is what we're using to kind of create our to create the framework for making the presentation layer, or the way the visual aspect, or what the person sees in the browser. That's the presentation layer. So we have a 3-tier architect. The third tier is the database. That's MongoDB. And the first tier is the presentation layer, and we're going to use React.js to do it. And the middle tier is our business logic, which figures out the information it's supposed to be displaying, and it gives it to the presentation layer, and the presentation layer worries about making it look pretty, things like that. So we're going to install React, and we just do another command down in our MERN directory. We'll give this a try. npx create React apt client. And if you look at the document that we're kind of following, it shows you that it's going to create a project structure for us with, looks like client. It says confirming that. So I'm going to pause this, but we're installing different pieces here. Okay, it finished. That took a bit. I'm not sure how long that was. Maybe that was 10 minutes or something. And so we're just going to see if everything starts up. So I'm still in the MERN project directory, but we now have this client directory there. So I'm going to change under client. Let's just see what's there. We have some pieces there, and we're going to start her up. So we're going to do npm start. See what happens. It's taken just a couple minutes to reach this point, but it's starting the development server. And we're going to try to hit this address, which is going to run what we created under client. And it's currently loading the page. It seems like it's pretty slow bringing up this environment on my machine. Okay, it finally completed, compiled successfully, and then over here, it's up and running. So we have this example. It's kind of an empty example, but we have the MERN stack running. We have React, we have Express, we have MongoDB, and we've created an environment. So we're going to stop this video here at this point. The next thing we're going to do will be creating a sample application. We're going to kind of download and get one of those working. But if you got this far, that's great. You've really kind of set up the bulk of your development environment.